Dear students, welcome to our YouTube channel Vidya for Success. In this video, let us continue our study on the morphology of flowering plants. Yes, so far in this lesson, we have discussed about the vegetative parts of the plant. So we have completed our study about the root and modifications of root. Then we also studied about stem, modifications of stem, as well as we studied about the leaves and its modification. So now we are moving to one more part of the plant, that is inflorescence. What do you mean by inflorescence? So if we look into the angiospermic plant, one of the fascinating organ we can notice is flower. So flowers are arranged on a axis called as peduncle. So there is a axis will be present in the plant. So on the axis, the flowers are arranged in a particular pattern. So the group of the flower in the plant is called as a inflorescence, right? So inflorescence is defined as the arrangement of flowers on the floral axis. So the floral axis is nothing but peduncle, right? So on the floral axis, number of flowers are arranged. So such an arrangement is going to form one of the part of the flower that is called as inflorescence. So there are two basic type of inflorescence can be seen in different groups of angiospermic plant. So this differentiation is done only based on how the flowers are arranged on the floral axis. So before moving to that, first understand how the formation of flower takes place in the angiosperms. So in the angiosperms, there is a shoot tip is present. That shoot tip consists of meristematic tissue. So that particular meristem present in the tip region, shoot tip region, is called as apical meristem. So at certain period of time, the apical meristem is get modified into floral meristem. So when the apical meristem modified into floral meristem, that means that the plant is ready to form flowers, right? So the flower is a modified part of the shoot tip. So shoot tip is in turn get modified in order to form a flower in the plant. So that instead of forming the leaves, the shoot apical meristem starts forming the flowers. Right? So because we have already studied that shoot apical meristem adds new tissues to the plants. So from where the new leaves forms and the stem part will arises. But when the shoot apical meristem is get modified into floral meristem, instead of adding leaves and stem to the plant, it starts forming new flowers in the plantlet. So this is the flower is nothing but a modified apical meristem. So when the apical meristem changes into the floral meristem, the plant will be ready to add the flower to the plant. So the apex produces the floral appendages laterally at successive nodes. So instead of forming leaves, the plant adds flowers to the plant. So this is how actually the flower formation takes place in the angiospermic plant. So now let us move to the types of inflorescence. So inflorescence divided into two different types based on how the flower formation takes place on the floral axis. So it is of two major types. The one is racemose inflorescence and another one is cymose inflorescence. So let us study the first one, racemose inflorescence. So why the inflorescence is called as racemose inflorescence? In case of racemose inflorescence, the flower formation takes place on the floral axis, right? So the floral axis does not ends with a flower, right? So when the inflorescence axis continues to grow, it keep on add new flower to the inflorescence. So such an inflorescence is called as racemose inflorescence, right? So let us have a look into the definition. Inflorescence axis continues to grow. Inflorescence axis is nothing but a one long axis that leads to the formation of flowers, right? In case of racemose inflorescence, inflorescence axis continues to grow. That means it keep on adding flower. The flowers are born in an acropetal succession. What do you mean by acropetal succession? So the older flowers are present at the base of inflorescence axis and younger flowers, smaller and younger flowers are present towards the tip of the inflorescence axis. So this kind of arrangement is called as acropetal succession. Right? So base of the inflorescence axis consists of older flowers and the tip of the inflorescence axis consists of younger flowers. Clear? So this kind of arrangement can be seen because the inflorescence axis continues to grow in the racemose inflorescence. So there are a number of angiospermic plants. They are showing racemose type of inflorescence. So best example is Caesalpinia. So in the Caesalpinia plant, we can see the racemose type of inflorescence. So here the flowers are arranged like this. You can notice I have given the one inflorescence. So older flowers are present. They occupy the base of axis, inflorescence axis, and younger flowers are occupied at the tip region. So this kind of arrangement is called as acropetal succession, and you can notice the tip of inflorescence axis in the diagram. It keep on adding new flowers to the plant, right? So this kind of inflorescence we are calling as racemose inflorescence. Clear? So this is the characteristic feature of the racemose inflorescence. And let us have a look in cymose inflorescence. What do you mean by cymose inflorescence? So cymose inflorescence is just opposite to that of the racemose inflorescence, because we have seen that in the racemose inflorescence, inflorescence axis continues to grow, right? But in case of cymose inflorescence, inflorescence axis, that means the tip of the axis, ends with a flower. Right? So there is no chance of formation of new flowers at the tip region because the inflorescence axis itself ends with a flower. Then how the new flowers formation takes place in this case of inflorescence? So new flowers will form from the base of the inflorescence axis. So because of this pattern of arrangement, it is called as basipetal order. Basipetal order is nothing but the formation of younger flowers takes place at the base of inflorescence axis. Right? So inflorescence axis ends with a flower in case of cymose inflorescence. The flowers are born in an basipetal order. What do you mean by basipetal order? Basipetal order in the sense the younger flowers are present or they are arises from the base of the inflorescence axis. You can have a look into the diagram. So this is the kind of cymose inflorescence. So you can notice the central flower, what we are observing in the diagram, that is the oldest flower. Right, or we can also consider it as a first formed flower of the inflorescence. So inflorescence axis itself ends with a flower, right? So the younger flowers forms from the base of the old flower. You can see from the base of the old flower, two lateral branches will be formed. So that branch will form the new flowers, right? So this pattern of the flower formation is called as cymose inflorescence. Clear? So you have to remember the definition of these two types of inflorescence. So cymose inflorescence and the one more we have studied is racemose inflorescence. Then what is the plant example for showing cymose inflorescence? So cymose inflorescence can be seen in the hibiscus plant, as well as we can also notice the cymose inflorescence in jasmine plant. Clear? So in these two examples, the inflorescence axis itself ends with a flower, right? And the younger flowers, they form on the base of the older flower. So this is what about the types of inflorescence. Right? So now let us understand about the flower, because we have discussed just now about the inflorescence. Inflorescence is nothing but the arrangement of flowers on the floral axis. So in order to form inflorescence, the plant need flowers. Right? So flowers are the fascinating organ. They are meant for the process of reproduction. So let us now understand how the flower structure is there in the angiospermic plant.
Is how much we give importance to the vegetative parts of the flower. In the similar way, equal importance is given to the floral characters. Because while classifying, they consider vegetative part as well as the reproductive part of the plant. Right? So if you come to the vegetative characters, we mainly focus on the stem, root and leaves. So how the leaves are arranged, what kind of leaf the plant consists of. So all these things they will consider as a vegetative characteristic feature. Then if we come to the reproductive characters, they look into the characteristic feature of the flower. So the flower characteristic is very important to classify the plants into its own category. Right? So now have a look into the characteristic feature of a flower. What do you mean by flower? So flower is a fascinating organ of the angiospermic plant. So if we look into any of the angiospermic plant, flower is one of the fascinating organ. So formation of flower is one of the common characteristic feature can be seen in the angiosperms. So why the flower formation takes place? Because to reproduce. So in order to continue its number from one generation to another generation, angiospermic plants, they bear flowers. So flowers are the reproductive units in the angiosperms. So flower consists of reproductive structures, right? And it is meant for sexual reproduction. So this is very important. What kind of reproduction takes place by the flower? That is sexual reproduction. So the formation of gametes takes place in one of the part of flower. So the sexual reproduction takes place by one of the reproductive unit in the angiosperm, that is called as a flower. Right? So what are the parts are present in the flower? So flower consists of 4 different kinds of orals. So we are calling it as a oral because they are particularly arranged on one of the swollen structure in the flower. So that swollen base or the receptacle is called as thalamus. So thalamus is the receptacle or it is the base of flower from where the different orals are get arised. So the first oral of the flower is calyx and the second oral is corolla. Third oral is androecium. Fourth oral is gynoecium. So this is the actual pattern of arrangement of orals in the bisexual flower. So if you take the flower, in that the first oral is always calyx and calyx is followed by the second oral, that is corolla. Corolla followed by the third oral, that is androecium, and the central oral is the gynoecium. So these 4 different orals, they are arranged on a receptacle called as the thalamus. So these are arranged successively on the swollen end of the stalk called thalamus. So let us study about each of the orals of a flower. So if we take a single flower, we can see all these different parts. So just we talked about the orals of the flower, right? So a single flower consists of a stalk, right? So that stalk of the flower is called as pedicel. Pedicel is nothing but stalk of the flower. And tip of the stalk consists of a swollen structure. That swollen end of the stalk is called as thalamus. So thalamus is the part from where the formation of all the orals takes place. You can find in the diagram. So there is a receptacle that is labeled in the diagram. That receptacle or the swollen part is nothing but thalamus. So thalamus is the part from where the formation of all the floral parts takes place. Right? So let us study about.
Dear students, welcome to our YouTube channel Vidya for Success. In this video, let us continue our study on the morphology of flowering plants.
of the flower, that is corolla. So on the thalamus we can notice the second oral. So second oral is brightly colored part of the flower. So it is a different color in different flowers. So in some it is pink in color, in some red, in some yellow, in some purple color, like this. A different color can be seen in different flower. So that brightened part of the flower is nothing but corolla. So corolla is the second oral of the flower and it is composed of petals. So the number of units present in the corolla are called as petals, right? Petals are brightly colored to attract insects for pollination. So why the petals are bright in color? So in most of the case, the corolla is brightly colored because it attract insects for pollination. So pollination has to occur in the sexual reproduction, right? So without pollination, the pollen grain does not transfer onto the surface of stigma. So in order to transfer the pollen grains to the surface of stigma, pollination is very important. So in order to attract the insects for the process of pollination, the petals are brightly colored in the flower, right? And in some cases the corolla are fragranced, so they release some kind of aroma, so that insects are attracted to the flowers and they sit on the flower, and meanwhile they help in the process of pollination. So the corolla is brightly colored part of the flower, right? And the petals in different flowers, they are showing different conditions, right? So same how we studied the gamosepalous and polysepalous condition in the calyx, in the similar way the petals in the corolla are also showing the different conditions. In some of the flowers, the petals are fused with one another. So when the petals are fused with one another, such a condition is called as gamopetalous. So gamopetalous is nothing but fused petals. Clear? And one more condition is polypetalous. Poly is nothing but free petals. Is it not? So when the petals are free, they are not united with one another, such a condition of petal in the corolla is called as polypetalous. So there are two conditions can be seen in the petals of different flower. In some it is gamopetalous, that means the petals are united. In some it is polysepalous, that means the petals are free. Clear? So one petal is not fused with the adjacent petal in the corolla. So such a condition is called as polypetalous condition. So these conditions they consider when classifying the plants. Right? Yes. We have studied about the second oral of the flower. So corolla is also different in shape and in size. In some of the flowers, the corolla may be tubular structure. That means a tube-like corolla can be seen in some flower, and in some it is bell-shaped, and in some it is funnel-shaped. So like this, a different shape and different sized corolla can be seen in different flower. Clear? Yes. Let us move to the third oral of the flower is androecium. What do you mean by androecium? So androecium is the third oral of the flower. You can find in the diagram. Very next to the corolla, there is a long thread-like structures are present, and each of the thread-like structure ends with anther, right? So those structures are together called as androecium. So androecium is a male reproductive unit of the flower. So the male reproductive part of the flower is named as androecium. So each of the unit present in the androecium is called as stamens. Understood, right? So androecium is nothing but what? It is a third oral and it is a male reproductive part of the flower, and it is made up of one or more stamens. You can find in the diagram. So each of the unit present in the androecium is nothing but stamens. So each stamens consists of how many parts? Two parts we can find. So the long filament structure present in the stamen is called as filament. So filament is get attached with the base of the flower. That means it is get attached with the thalamus, or in some cases it is get attached with the petal. Right? And filament ends with anther. So there is a bilobed structure we can observe in the stamen. That bilobe structure, yellow colored part, what we are observing in the diagram, that is nothing but anther. So anther is the part of the flower from where the formation of pollen grain takes place. So we have already studied about this, right, when we are studying about the life cycle of angiosperms, right? So the stamen consists of two parts. The long thread-like structure is known as filament, and filament ends with a bilobe structure that is called as anther. So anther is the place from where the formation of pollen grain takes place. What do you mean by pollen grain? Pollen grain is nothing but male gametophyte. It carry male gamete. Male gamete is present actually in the pollen grain. Right. So this is about the function of androecium. So androecium is a male reproductive part of the flower. It is made out of number of units called as stamens. So anther is a part where the formation of pollen grain takes place. Clear? And the fourth oral of the flower is gynoecium. So gynoecium is the innermost oral of the flower, and it is the female reproductive part of a flower. So in the flower there is a female reproductive oral is present. That oral is nothing but gynoecium. Understood? So gynoecium is made up of one or more carpels. So there are one or more carpels are present in the gynoecium. What do you mean by carpel? So carpel is a unit of gynoecium, right? So each carpel consists of three basic parts. So the tip of the carpel is called as stigma, and a elongated tube-like structure connected with the stigma is called as style. You just observe the diagram. So tube-like structure that is connected with the stigma is called as style, and base of the carpel is called as ovary. So these three parts are actually present in the carpels. Clear? So ovary is the part where the ovules are present. So within the ovule there is a formation of egg takes place. So we have studied detailed structure of the ovule in our previous lesson, right? So if you have any doubt about the structure of ovary, so you go through that video and you make yourself thorough with this concept, right? So ovary is a part where the ovules are present. So within the ovule the formation of female gamete takes place, right? What is the function of stigma? So stigma is just act as a platform. So when the pollen grain reaches the female reproductive part, initially it fall on the surface of stigma. So stigma is a receptacle. It receives the pollen grain during pollination, right? And style is an elongated tube through which the pollen tube enters into the ovule, right? Yes. So the gynoecium is nothing but the female reproductive part of a flower. It made out of number of units called as carpels. So how many parts are present in each of the carpel? Each of the carpel consists of three parts. Stigma, it acts as a receptacle. It receives the pollen grain during pollination. And stigma connected with the style. Style is an elongated tube-like structure, and style ends with a broader base of the carpel that is called as ovary. Clear? So just I introduced you the reproductive parts of a flower. So in next video we will be going to study about different conditions of male and female reproductive parts of a flower, because there are different conditions we can see in different flowers if we look into the reproductive parts like androecium and gynoecium, right? And one more thing here we have to understand is the types of flower based on the presence of number of reproductive parts, right? So if both the reproductive parts are present in the flower, such a flower is called as bisexual flower. So this is one type. Clear? What do you mean by bisexual flower? So bisexual flower consists of both the reproductive parts. That means male reproductive part as well as female reproductive part present in the same flower. If they are present in the same flower, such a flower is called as bisexual flower. So in some cases, what happens is the male flower will be separate and female flower will be separate. And male flower consists of only this thing, androecium, and female flower consists of only carpel, that means gynoecium. Understood? So based on the presence of or absence of number of reproductive parts, the flowers are classified into two types: unisexual flower and bisexual flower. Unisexual flower is nothing but the flower consists either androecium or gynoecium. Clear? So bisexual flower is nothing but a single flower consists of both the reproductive units. Clear? Yes, this is what about today's class. So next class, let us continue our study about the different conditions of androecium and gynoecium. Thank you.